Hello, what's going on everyone? And you're welcome to another class. And in today's class, we're going to basically be taking a look at PHP file uploading. And PHP file uploading offers us the functionality of being able to add file upload the functionalities to our server. Okay, it's going to allow us begin to upload things like images, videos, and any types of a file that we actually want to upload to our server, okay, or to our website that is online. That's what we want to take a look at in this video. And before doing that, you need to actually know how to create proper files that, file input that can actually allow the uploading of images, because ordinarily creating the form can't guarantee that an image or whatever file can be uploaded to your server. Okay, so that is just what that is. And I want to demo, because I did an example, I want to demo the application for you guys. And in this one, what I basically did was to allow things like JPEG, JPEG, PNG, GIF, and then the likes of the files that we have in here. But I'm going to show you how you can add other extensions like zip and whatever. Okay, and what we're going to be doing is to, let's first of all demo this application. And before we do the demo of the application, if we go to, for instance, let's go to the file that is already opened on this application right now is right here. And if you open that up, you're going to notice that we have two files in here, index and styles, and we have a folder called images, which is basically where we're going to be storing all the images that were uploaded to our website or our application. And that's basically how you could also do it if you are working with an application that is already online. Okay, you're going to have a folder where the images will go, so that you can actually fetch those images from such a folder and then display it on your website. It can be even movies or whatever. It can be anything that you want. This is just whatever we are going to be doing in this particular one will be applicable with any other types of extension that you may like to upload, like movies and zips, just basically even PDF. Okay, so for me to demo this application right now, what happens is that if you click on this choose file right now, it's going to bring up this choose file dialog box for you, which basically you need to find a picture or whatever file that you want to upload and then send it to the web application. Okay, so I want to choose this one that says ChatGPT, which is a PNG file. So I believe I have that extension in there. So that has been there. It has been uploaded to this particular place right now. So we basically need to click on upload file and we'll have success right here. And if you click OK, you see that we'll have a green sign right here, meaning that that image has been actually uploaded. And if you take a look at that file location, you see that there is an image right here that has just been uploaded. Okay, and if you notice something, you see that the name actually changed. Was not the name that showed on that place, so it was ChatGPT. And I did it in such a way that once we are able to upload the file, we went ahead and then changed the original name that it came with and then include some unique names like this. Okay, so that if two persons have the same image file name on our server, there won't be any problem of identifying who owns a particular image, in case they will have things like a user sign up or profile pictures within our system. Okay, so that will be no such thing as the system being confused. So we're going to create unique names for every upload that we'll make. And I did it in such a way that I was able to even add the initial of my web application. In my company, which is CK, which stands for Code Kinder. And you can do your own that way. You can even, I've seen pictures from Facebook that most of the time they be FB underscore whatever unique name that they generate for it. Okay, so you can also do that yourself. So that is just that. So we have been successful. If we double click on it, you see this is the picture actually. Okay, so, and another functionality that I added to this web application is that if you choose a file that the extension is not actually allowed within the application, it's going to complain to you. So if we click on choose file and let's say we go to the desktop and let's say we select something that an extension that this is .txt. Okay, this is not allowed in the application. Okay, so if I select that right now and then click on upload, you're going to notice that it's going to complain that that extension is actually not allowed. Okay, so look at what it says right there. So it says the extension allowed are JPG, JPEG, PNG. Maybe that it's just saying that maybe you do not even upload any images at all. Okay, so just the basic thing that I want you to understand now is that you can select the type of files that should be uploaded to your server. If you don't want files that have .txt uploaded to your server, you can exclude them and then report an error if someone tries to upload such a file. So that's just basically what that is. And another functionality with this application now is that if you upload the right file, but the size of the file is bigger than what you want to allow in your server, because you don't want people to upload just right about any file size into your server, because they're going to fill up the spaces on your server. So we can limit size. Okay, so let's practice that right now, or demonstrate that. So let's say we find an image that is bigger than something like let's say it's bigger than 2 megabytes. Okay, I think I did it in such a way that any image that is bigger than 2 megabytes should not be uploaded. So if you take a look at this one right now, this is 6.65 megabytes. So that's bigger than 2 megabytes. So it should not upload. So I'm going to select that. It has been selected, and if I hit upload, you see that it tells you that the file size is too high. So we want max of a 2 megabytes. So the application is actually cool. It has quite a lot of functionality, even though it looks very simple in the eyes like this. But I checked quite a lot of things, and I believe that you are going to learn a lot from it. And without wasting much time, let's begin writing the code. What I want to do, the first thing I want to do right now is to create a folder for this application. So if we go to our htdocs right now, this is XAMPP htdocs, and the folder that we'll be working on is PHP intro. So I want to open that up and then create a new folder inside of this place right now. So this is going to be, let's go ahead and call that uploads. Let's call that upload. And I want to open this folder that I just created now in my Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is going to be called, let me go to my Visual Studio Code, and I want to open that file up. So I'm going to click here and then select open folder. And what I want to select is that uploads. Let's look for uploads right here. Let's open PHP intro, then we have upload right here. So let's select folder, and that's going to open up for us right here. So the next thing that we need to do is to create the files that we need. So I'm going to create index as the first one. So this is going to be index.php, and we'll have that right there. And after that, we want to create the CSS file. So we're going to just basically call this style.css. So that is that, and after that we need a folder which is called images. So we're going to just call this images, and just like that. So let's go ahead and get into our PHP, our index, and we want to create something like a boilerplate for our HTML right here. So I'm going to put exclamation, then hit tab, and it's going to generate this basic boilerplate for me, which I'm going to go ahead and then fill in my title right here. So what are we going to call this? Let's just go ahead and call it something like PHP file uploads. So PHP file uploads. After that, I want to include the link to that of the style that I just created, and I'm going to do it down here. And to do that, we're going to just say link URL, and we're going to go ahead and then set that to style sheets. So this is going to be style. This is going to be style sheets, and the next one is to determine the location of the style sheet, which we're going to just say href, and I want to set that to style.css, and we can go ahead and then close that line right there. So with that, we've connected to our style sheets like that. And the next thing we want to do right now is to go ahead and then create the body section of the application. So to work on the body section of the application, I want to create a h1 right here, which I want to just add some certain things here, and I want to just say something like upload files, and the files that I want to upload, I want to put that in brackets. So this is I want to basically just begin to put examples of the files we want to create there. So this is going to be JPG. Let's do that in small letter, in lowercase letters. So this is going to be JPG, comma, and we have JPEG, comma. We also have a file called PNG, and we also have GIF. These are all for images, and we also have another one which is not an image called PDF, and we'll have the one that is for MP3. So we'll have MP, I think the first one was MP4, and finally we'll have something like MP3. So this is going to be MP3, and we can go ahead and just say something like etc right there. Okay, so this is basically what you have in there. So I want to close the H1. This is going to be closed like this. And after that, the next thing that I think I need to do is to create a form. So I'm going to create a form right now. So FORM, and I'm going to set an action, and I want to process the form within this particular page. You should understand this. I think we've done this before. And this is going to be form, and the action is going to be sent to empty strings, which means I want the processing of the file to be done within this page. So after that, we're going to set a method which we could set to, I want to go ahead and set that to post. So this is going to be post. After that, this is the next thing I want to do right now. Is going to be very important. It's called the enc type. Okay, the enc type to this application. What this enc type does for us is that it's going to give us the functionality to be able to actually upload the file to a server. Okay, if you don't have this particular attribute, or no matter the kind of PHP code that you are going to write, it's not going to allow you to upload any file. Okay, for you to be able to upload files to a server, you need to have the enc type, and then the value that you're going to set it to is going to be multi. So this is going to be multi-part slash form data dash data, just like that. So this is going to be multi-part / form data, and we can go ahead and close our form tags right here. And after that, the first input that I want to create right now is going to be what is going to actually allow me choose a file within my system. So I'm going to just say inputs, and I'm going to set the type right here. And the type for image uploading is called file, or any file upload, not just image, but any file at all. So it's called a file, and we want to give it a name. And this name is just basically going to help us grab onto this particular field within our PHP. So we're going to just set that to upload. That is that right there. So we can go ahead and then close the input in there. The next one I want to create is going to be the submit button. So I'm going to just say input, and I want to set the type. The type is going to be submit. So we'll set that to submit. Let's make sure we type submit correctly, and after that we can create a value for it. So we set the value to something like upload file. So I'm going to just call that upload file. Finally, we're going to need a name. So let's say that the name of this is going to be called we could still call it something like upload, okay, or submit. So let's go ahead, let's call that upload. So this is going to be upload, and that is just that. We're actually done creating our HTML, and if we open that up now within our browser, so we need to open that up. So this is going to be localhost. I think I should even copy this, put it right there, and we want to actually move from files. What we want to move into right now is going to be PHP intro, and after that we need to move to upload. So we'll call that uploads. Yeah, so it was called upload, and this is what we have right now, guys. It looks absolutely ugly, but the functionalities are there. So you see where they say choose file, which if you click on it, is going to bring up the choose file dialog box for you to choose any file that you want, and if you actually choose, it's going to put it in there. But if you hit on upload, it's not going to upload the file to anywhere. Okay, so if we open up the uploads folder, check the images, see that nothing has been uploaded to this place. So that is just that. So the first thing I want us to do now is to write some styling for this particular index that we're having here. So if we go back to our development environment, and I want to write some styles right here. So right here, first of all, I want to give the body a background color right now. And what I'm going to give the background as a background color right now is going to be that of the yellow background. So the former one was yellow. So let's make sure we create the same thing that we presented. So I have a yellow background right there, and that's basically the only thing I want to do there. And after that, I'm going to say, I'm going to work on the H1 right now, which we can basically do something about right here. So what I want to do for the H1 is just basically center the text that is in there. So I'm going to just say text align, and I want to set that to center of the web page. So that's just that. And after that, I want to move on to the form itself. So this is going to be form. And what do I really want to do about the form? So I'm going to set a couple of styling here. The first one is to give it a border, and the border is going to be 1 pixel, and this is going to be solid, and the color is going to be white. So I'm going to just do triple F right there, and that is that on that line. So after that, I want to set the width of that particular form, which in my own case is going to just be 50%. Okay, so we have it to be 50% right there, and I want to set the margin. So if we set the margin right there, let's say we set the margin to auto so that it can move that particular form to the center of that web page. So let's save, and then we'll load that browser to see whether the styling that we're actually typing is working. So this is how it's looking so far. So we have that right there, and we want to take the styling further. After the margin, I want to give it a height. So the height is going to be set to something like, let's say, we give this 90 pixels, and after that we want to set the padding tab. So this is going to be padding dash tab, and this is going to be let's say we're going to make it just 40 pixels, and after that we need to work on the padding bottom. So I'm going to copy this and paste it right there, and then what we're going to do is to change this to padding bottom. So this is going to be bottom like that, and that is it. So after that we need to work on the input fields themselves. So I'm going to just say form, which is form, and I want to just say input. And what I want to do with the input right now is quite very simple. So I'm going to set the width of the input fields to 100% so that they will be on separate lines. Okay, they will be on separate lines. And I want to increase the font size. So let's say that the font size is going to be set to something like we're going to make that 28 pixels, and after that we need to set the padding. So this is going to be padding, and the padding is going to be set to 12 pixels. So let's call this 12 pixels. So that we need to set a border, a box sizing. So we're going to just say box dash sizing, and we want to set that to I think it's called a border box. So that's going to be border box, like that. After setting that to border box, the next thing that we want to do right now is to set a background for those inputs. So this is going to be background, and I want to set that to this is going to be white. So I'm going to just do hash right there, then triple F. So that is just that. Let me scroll down so that you can see the bottom of this place. And the next thing that we want to do right now is to go ahead and then work on the submit button. However, let's just save this first of all and then take a look at what we've done so far. So if we go back to our browser and we refresh, and you see that the stuff is actually coming together. And the next thing we want to do is to work on the submit button. So we're going to just say FORM. We're going to just say input. The input type this time around, we want to target specifically, we want to target the submit button. So I'm going to just say type, and I will set that to submit. So this is going to be submit, and that's how I'm actually going to grab onto the submit button. So whatever style I'm writing down here is going to be affecting only the submit button. So to do that right now, I want to first of all change the background. So this is going to be background, and I want to set that to green. So this is going to be green, and after that I want to go ahead and then set the color of the text. So this is going to be color, and I want to set that to that should be white, guys. So I'm going to just say FFF right there, and after that I want to set the margin top to add the margin to that particular submit button. So we're going to give it just something like 8 pixels. So this is going to be 8 pixels. After that we're going to set the font size. So the font size to that of the submit button is going to be 2 EM. So let's set that to 2 EM, and after that we need to grab onto, let's remove the border. Okay, so I'm going to just say to remove the border, I'm going to just say border and then set that to none, like that. And after that we need to set the pointer. I'm going to set the cursor, I'm going to set it to pointer, so that every time you hover on it, the the cursor is going to change to something like a human hand. And that is just that for now. So if we go back to this place and then refresh, you see that this is how it is right now. Okay, so it looks just like the original. So the next thing that we're going to do right now, we could come back to the styling later, but add quite a few things, but we need to start working on the scripting part of it, which I'm going to do is at the top of this place. Okay, so I'm going to put my PHP tag in here, and this is basically what you guys would want to see. So we need to move on into doing what you actually want to see. So we're done with the HTML and then the CSS, even though we could add quite a few things later to that of the CSS, just a few lines. Okay, so the first thing I want to do right now is to check for a post request to make sure that the form actually is actually being set to post, okay, before the form can be submitted, because this is actually going to be a secure kind of action that we want to take in here. So for that, I'm going to just use if. I'm going to just put that in an if statement. So this is going to be if, and I'm going to use $_server. So I'm going to use server super global right here, and within this server super global, I want to the index for this is going to be request method. So I'm going to just say request _method, and I'm going to basically go ahead and then set that to be equal to, so I'm going to just say triple equal to, and I want to set that to post. And if the method is actually set to post, what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and grab onto the file itself. I hope you understand what I did right here, what I did above this place. So we want to make sure if it's in the post environment, if the form, this particular form is actually set to a post environment, what do we want to do? So the first thing that we need to do right now is to grab onto that image itself. And to do it, if it is other files, other types of files, what we'll normally do is to just, maybe if we set a variable here, and maybe we just call it something like file, you can go ahead and use something like a $_, and you say something like post, then go ahead and then grab onto the name for the post itself right here. But with files or images in PHP, let's just keep mentioning files, because this is not going to be just for only images. So instead of using post, what we're going to be using right here is going to be called files. Okay, and I believe I've actually shown you this in the basis before. And so this is basically files, and what we need next is going to be the name of that field, which if you scroll down in our HTML, we'll see where we'll call that upload. So we're going to have to pick this and go up right there, and then let's go ahead and add that right here. So that's going to be in quotes, and I hope I think we should change this name, the submit button that we have in here, so that it does not confuse you with what we're doing right here. So this name, I want to change it to submit or send. Let's just call that send. Okay, just know that the one I have just grabbed onto right now is this particular one. I mean this one. Okay, this is the one I've just grabbed onto right now, and then put that in here. So with this line alone, it means that we actually grabbed onto the whatever file that they put in that particular place. Okay, but I want you to understand that, of course, this is an array. If you take a look at it very well, this is an array. And if you want to understand what I mean by that being an array, I'm going to do something as above allow. Okay, but just know with that, this line alone is going to grab onto the file, whatever that the person has uploaded. When they click on the upload file and select it and put to grab onto whatever thing that is in that place. Okay, which in our own case, when we're talking about file, most of the time, file will have something like a name, and file will have something like a temporary name. File will also have something like a size, and then it can also have an error. Okay, so those things are actually found in this particular array right here. Okay, so if you don't understand that, let's just use var dump to bring that out. And I'm using var dump because it's an array. So to print out or to dump the result of an array, use var dump. So I'm going to collect this, put it right here, and I'm going to close out this particular place right here. So if I go back to my application right now and I refresh, if I select a picture right here and I hit on upload, you're going to see there will be an array of those things that I just mentioned right now that's going to come up. Okay, so the first one is name. So an image is going to have a name. So the name of the picture that I just selected is right here. So after that, it's going to have a type, and the type is actually PNG. And after that, it's going to have a temporary name, which is just a temporary location name for it at the moment you select that and put that within your server. So it will create a temporary name for it, which is found right here. So this is the temporary name of that image. This image that I call ChatGPT, this is the temporary name for now. And after that, we also have an error, okay, which is an array that's going to basically hold the error. So it's set to 0 right now. That means there is no errors. So the picture was actually selected. And after that, we have the size. So this designates the size of that particular file that we just selected. Okay, so that's just basically what I'm talking about. And what we're going to do right now, let's basically put all of these things in their own separate variables. So let's go back to our development environment, and I want to comment this out right now. But down here, the first one I want to create right now is going to be the file name. So I'm going to just create a variable and we just call file name. So this is going to be file underscore name, and I want to set that to be equal to this particular variable right here. So I'm going to copy this variable, put it right here, and after that, the next thing that I want to do is to grab onto the array itself, which in our case, if you take a look at the browser, see that that is actually called name. Okay, so I need this. I'm going to need this particular thing right there. So I need to take that. We can actually type that without copying, but I'm feeling so lazy most of the time, but I just that. So we should basically just say something like name right here, and we can terminate this particular line. Remember that this particular file right here, this variable right here, is this particular one, which means that what we have in here right now can actually be in this particular form. So if I copy this and put it right here like this, this is basically how that line should actually be. So there should be a sign like right here, a dollar sign right here to designate that particular array. So this is basically what I have just done right now, what it means. Okay, so this is the original way of doing it, but I want you guys to actually understand it very well. That's why I'm putting it in different variables. Okay, so I'm going to go back right now and use this particular variable right here. So this is how it's going to be, guys. So I'm going to keep on using it this way. After this one right now, the next one that I want to grab onto right now is going to be the temporary name. So if I copy this and paste it down, and I'm going to just change this one to file temp. So this is going to be file temp. So this is TMP for temporary, and I want to change this one right here. This is going to be temp TMP underscore name for temporary name. And after that, we're going to grab onto the size. So this is going to be file underscore size. Let's call that file underscore size, and I want to change that from here. This one is going to be called size, as it is on the var dump that we showed on the browser. So after that, the next one is going to be the file error. So I'm going to change this to error, and what I want to do with the error is to just let's replace this one with error, like that. Okay, so you can basically echo out any of these five fields if you want. For instance, if you just do echo right here for the temporary name, and if you refresh that web page, you should be able to see the name of that file being shown on the screen. So look at the name right there, which is cool. All right, so let me take this echo away, and let me just comment this in, and let's just say something like a file properties. Call this file properties. So that's the properties of whatever file that you are uploading right there. So after that, the next thing I want to do right now is to let me just do something like working out the file extension. So this is going to be the file extension. So whatever I'm going to do down here is going to be for the file extension. And to do that, let me create a variable for it, which I'm going to just call file extension. This is going to be file underscore. We'll call that extension. Okay, and I want to go ahead and set that to a particular function that is called explode. Okay, for us to work out the extension right now, we're going to have to do quite a few things. Explode, we kind of separate the file name into two. Okay, this particular name that you will see on the browser right here, this thing is going to separate it. We're going to be able to see ChatGPT, and we should also be able to find this particular one called a PNG, which our target with the explode is that we're going to start from this particular dot right now. And I'm going to show you how to do that, because the way I'm explaining it, I know that you will not understand it. So we're going to just say explode. What do we really want to explode? Where do we want to start? That's the first thing that we want to do right now. I want to start from wherever we find the dot, and I'm going to put that in quotes. So there will be a dot right here. So let's put a dot. And after that, the next parameter that we want to do is what are we actually exploding itself, and that's going to come from the file name, which is right here. So I'm going to copy this and then put it. So I'm about going to explode that particular file name, and we're starting from this place. We're going to separate it from wherever we find dot, put it into two different places. That's what that means. So, and for instance, now if you don't understand what I mean by what I just did, let's just copy this var dump right here, and if we come down to this place and paste the var dump, what I want to do right now is to basically explode, var dump this particular variable called file extension. And let's close this right here, and if we save and we go back to our browser right now, and let's say we'll refresh. If we refresh right now, we're going to notice that that has been splitted into two. Okay, so that was splitted into ChatGPT, and the next one is called PNG. So you see how that was separated? So you can grab onto any of them. If you want to grab onto only ChatGPT without the dot, you can do that. And if you want to grab onto PNG without the dot, you can do that. So that's just what that has just done for us. All right, so let's comment this line out. And one more thing that I want to do right now is you see the file extension that we have on this place right now. There are some situations where this could be in capital letters. Okay, and that can pose some challenges at times. So what we normally do as programmer is to make sure that we convert such to something like lowercase letters. So let me put a comment right here and then say something like convert the extension to lowercase letters. Okay, and to really do that is very simple. If we want to convert the extension to lowercase letter, there is a function in PHP that is called the str to lower that we can use. And in doing that, I'm going to basically copy this. Let me copy this variable. I'm going to use that down here, and I'm going to just say equal to, and this is going to be str, so that's going to be str to lower, like that. And I'm going to basically pass in the what is it called, the variable that has the that actually has the file extension in here. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and then paste what I just copied earlier. So with this, it means that we are updating what we had earlier right here into this one that is here right now. Okay, so this particular file extension now has been converted. So each time we encounter a file name that has uppercases in it, it's going to convert it into lowercase using this particular function, and we are saving that into this particular variable, which we can make use of. We can use that as we move along. So that's just that. And then after that, the next thing that we need to do now is to go ahead and then determine the allowed extensions that we want to use. within our web application. All right, so to decide the extensions that we want to allow, we're going to basically put that in an array. So let's just say something like array of allowed. So that's going to be something like allowed file types, like that. So I'm going to create an array of file types. I'll put that in a variable, which I'm going to just call something like allowed extensions. So this is going to be allowed underscore extension. Okay, and I want to go ahead and then put that in an array, just like I said. So this is going to be array. We're going to create array function right there, or method, and within this place we can now go ahead and begin to spill out the extensions that we want. For instance, we're going to need, I'm going to put that in double quotes. So we're going to allow JPG, that's the first one, and we're going to get out of that place, create another one, which we're going to call something like JPEG. So this is going to be JPEG, because there are some extensions that will be, instead of JPG, I think I misspelled this one. This is JPG, the next one is JPEG. And after that, we have another one that is called maybe something like PNG. So we're going to just say PNG, like that. And if you want something like zip, you can also do that right there. For instance, we need a zip. So any file that has the zip, you can also include it right there. So if you want PDF, you can go ahead and add PDF right there. So basically, any file that you want, any file extension you want, you can go ahead and then add it right there for us. Okay, so that is just what that is. So these are the files, the file extensions that this particular application is going to allow. Anything outside of these things that we have in here right now, the application should report an error. Okay, so that's just that. So you should use your time to make sure that you include all of the extensions that you want. So we also have an extension for image that is called GIF. So you can also put that right there. Okay, so maybe I should just put it for you guys right here. So this is GIF, separate that with a comma, and that is just that. All right, so up to this point, our file extension is actually found in this particular place right now. And down here, the next thing that we need to do right now is to check to be sure that the file extension that has been uploaded in our web application, this particular extension now, if it has one of these file extensions that we have in here. So in simple terms, it means that we are now checking the file that has been uploaded to our web browser, whether it has any of these allowed extension. Okay, the file that we currently have on our browser, does it have any of these extensions? And to do that, we're going to use if statement down up here. So let me just put something like a comment here and just check for maybe something like an allowed file extension. So this is going to be extension. And to do that, let's put that in an if statement. So I'm going to just say if, and I'm going to use in array right here. So if not in underscore array, so that means if it is not in array, if the file extension is not in the following array. And remember that the array that we want to refer to right now is actually this particular one. Okay, so we've already created the array. So if not in array, and what's the name of the array that we actually want to check, I'm going to go ahead and pass that in right here, which is going to be called a file extension. So we're going to just copy this particular variable right here. So if not in array, file extension, and the second parameter is going to be that of the file extension, which is up here. So I'm going to copy this and then paste this right here. Okay, so what this means is that if what is in this particular file extension is not found within this particular array, we want to go ahead and then begin to spill out some errors for them. Okay, remember that this particular file right now contains our file extension. If you echo this out or dump this, what you are going to see is basically the extension that contains. Okay, so if that extension that is in that place is not found within this particular array, which is right here, this array that we just created, and remember I'll save that in this particular variable. That's why I'm using it right here. So if it is not within this particular array, we want to go ahead and then begin to spill out some errors for them. For instance, I'm going to create my first error right here. So I'm going to create a variable that I'm going to just call error, and I want to maybe write a message in here. And what I'm going to just do is I'm going to say the extension, let's just say the extensions allowed JPG, JPEG, PNG, GIF, could just basically, okay, GIF, and we also have a zip, which is right there. Okay, so these are the extensions that are actually allowed within that place. And at the same time, I want to also use this opportunity to also, because if someone does not really click select any image, it's also assumed that that particular image does not have the required extension. So I'm going to put a message that's going to help tell the user something right there. So I'm going to just say, oh, maybe you did not choose any files at all. So something of that nature, guys. So we have that right there. So I'm going to terminate that particular line, and that is just that as far as that line is actually concerned. So if we go back to our browser right now and we refresh this web page, and we have no error so far. So but if I select a file that does not really have the required extension right now, let's see whether that is going to actually print out an error for us. So I'm going to select this file which has a .txt, and basically before we do that, we need to have found a way to echo out this particular error. And to echo it out, if we go to our formula here, we need to create a span here. So I'm going to say span, and I'm going to give that an ID of, let's call that error, and let's go ahead and then close this. So this is going to be PHP, and I want to echo out this particular variable that I just copied now called error, and I want to go ahead and close the span right here. So close that, and I think okay, we should also close the PHP tag in here. So this is how it should be, and we need to give this a little style, but let's just test it first of all. So if we refresh this page, and we have an error right here which says that this variable is not defined, which means that we need to have this particular variable above everything that we have in here. We need to have that somewhere, so we need to initially create that variable right here and then set that to an empty string. Okay, so we're going to also have the one for success. So let me use this opportunity to create a new variable that I'm going to call success and set that to empty strings. So if we go back and refresh, that error should be gone by now. So let's select that file again, which is this, and if we click on this, and we'll have I think we'll have an error which says on call type error str2 lower, so must be of type array string array given. So this is on line 7. So let's find out and see how we can debug that. That's on line 17, not 7. So let's go to line 17, which is right here. Okay, which is right here. And let's take a look at that error again. So it says this side must be of type array, so it must be of type string, and what is actually given is an array. Okay, I think I know. You know what we're going to do right now? What we actually want to convert is not all the file extension, it's not everything at all. So we need to actually use a function that is going to determine the end of that part, or whatever file name that is in that place. So I'm going to use a function called end, and I want to wrap that around this particular thing right here. So this is going to be like this, and I believe that should solve that problem. So we have, okay, so okay, we need to have a closing bracket right here. So this is how it should be. And if we go back to our browser, and let's refresh, and let's choose that file again, and then hit on upload, and we still had that error back. You know what? Oh, sorry guys, I think we need to switch this. We need to switch this. So let's cut this, and then put it right here. So this is file. So this is going to be file underscore extension, then comma, we're going to have allowed extension right here. Okay, so let's save that, and if we try again, let's try again. So let's check this, select that, and as you can see guys, so that now works, guys. So I'm sorry about that I made that mistake. Okay, so sorry about that, and the explanation to that is that, you know, the file extension that we're actually looking for is contained in the variable up here. Okay, so once you upload, we're grabbing onto the file extension and then putting it into a variable here. But then after that, we'll have an array of extensions right here. So we want to check what we have within this particular place right now, whether it's found within this particular array. Okay, so if we have something like a JPG within this particular variable, which is basically what we uploaded, we want to compare and then check within this particular extension, this array, okay, which is right here. So sorry about that guys. So that is just basically that, and let's write a little style for that particular error that we have up there. I want to turn that to be red. So if we go down here, we're going to just reference that to, this is called, it was called error as the class name, the ID name, and I want to write quite a few lines of a code for it right here, as well as write that of the success. Okay, so right here, the first thing I want to do is to change the background. So this is going to be background, and I want to change the background to white. So this is going to be white like that, and after that we need to go ahead and then change the color of the text. So the color of the text is going to be red, and after that we need to increase the font size. So let the font size be it's going to be something like, let's say it's going to be 25 pixels, and after that we need to set the display, and the display is going to be called let's change that to blocks so that it can allow us kind of shift the content to the center of that web page, of that space that we have right there. So for that reason, since we have turned this to because by default is an inline level element, and now, since we have turned it to a block level element, we can now use something like text dash align to push it to the center of the web page. So we're going to just say center. So that's just that. And I want to copy this, copy that, and then put it down here. And I want to modify what we have in here for the success. Okay, we're going to create another ID that's we're going to actually call success. We haven't done that yet, but we're going to do that. And the background is going to be white, so we need to change the color of the text to green. So this is going to be green, and after that let the font size be 25. Let's every other thing is okay right here. Okay, every other thing is okay. So let's go ahead and then save that. And if we go back to this browser and if we refresh, and I'm going to notice that that one that is for the error will have to change to red. So that's just that, and which is okay. So let's go back to our development environment and go back to the index. Let's keep on working on our script. So the next thing that we want to check now is going to be, all right, so let's check for the file size right now. So I'm going to just put a comment here and just say something like check for file size. And to check for file size, we're going to do that down here, and I'm going to use else if. Remember, we'll have an if up there. So this is an if that we're working on right now, if statement. I want to create an else part for it, else if part for it right now. So, and then the else if part, the condition I want to check within the else if part is going to be for the file size, and which the file size is actually contained in a variable that we have up here, this one that is called file size. So I'm going to make use of it. So I'll copy that, because that variable actually contains the size of the file that we have, that we're actually uploading. So I'm going to paste that in here, and I'm going to use a greater than sign, and for 2 megabytes we're going to just do 2097152. Okay, so this is the size for 2 megabytes. So what we're saying with this condition is that if the file size, the file that the person is uploading, if it is greater than 2 megabytes, what do we want to do? We want to go ahead and then create an error, because we do not want people to upload any file that is greater than 2 megabytes into our server. So it has to be 2 megabytes or less than 2 megabytes. So for that reason, let's go ahead and then create a variable in here, and the variable could be, we can just go ahead and then rewrite this particular variable in here. So this is going to be error. We're going to just keep on updating that variable. So this is going to be error, and we'll set that to, I will just say something like the file size is too high. Okay, so we want a max. We can just do something like, we want a max of 2 MB, like that. Okay, we don't want it to the maximum, we want a max of 2 MB. So that is just that. So we have the file size checked, and if we want to test that right now, we can. So if we go back to our browser, so within our browser right now, let's make sure we refresh this page, and let's try to upload a file that is bigger than 2 megabytes. So let me go to the pictures, and this one is actually bigger than 2 megabytes. Okay, so if you look at it, move on, this is 6.69. So I want to upload that particular file and hit on this, and you will see that we have an error right here. So that error, the part that we just created right now, has just populated the page saying that the file size is too high. We want a max of 2 megabytes, and that's coming from this particular place, this else if part. Okay, so that is just that. The next one that we want to take on right now is going to be to go ahead and then, like finally check for any errors in the array from something like the file, the $_files array. And to do that, we are still going to go ahead and then put that in something like an if statement. Or basically, let me just say that we're going to check for the error array. So if we check the error array, which is up here, what I'm referring to is this particular line that says error right here. So we're going to basically check for that. So if it is equal to some kind of a number right there, and let me just, in fact, there's no need for any comment right here. So we can just use our else if part right here. So I'm going to just say else if, and what I want to do within this place is to go ahead and then I'm going to grab onto that error, the variable called phi error. So this is going to be phi underscore error, and I want to actually set that to be exactly equal to 0. Okay, so what this means is that I'm just checking if the variable, what is it called, the variable file underscore error is actually equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, that means that it has no error at all. So we can go ahead from here to begin to do some other things that are actually very important, like uploading the file to the server or even creating a new name for the file that has been uploaded. Okay, so if we scroll down, let's scroll down a little bit so that we can be seeing everything. What I'm going to do here right now, just remember that what this means is that if the error array, because if we check this, when I showed you this that time, you see that anytime we are able to upload the file successfully, it sets this particular value to 0. So if it is actually equal to 0, that means that everything is fine. But if it is equal to a number like 4, it means that we'll have an error. Okay. So what I'm basically going to do is that I'm going to just check if this particular variable or array contains a value called 0. That means that everything is fine. So I can now go ahead and then maybe do something like create a new file name. So I'm going to just basically create a new file name because I don't want to keep on uploading the file with its original name. So what I'm going to do right here is to put a comment and then say something like create a new file name. And in doing that is very, very simple. We're going to use a function that is called a unique ID to do that, which if you've been watching my videos, you must have seen me use that quite a lot, especially on YouTube. So let's create a new variable right here, and let's just call that new underscore file. Let's just call that underscore name, and I want to go ahead and then we're going to use a function called a unique ID. Just like I said, this is going to be unique, so we'll call that unique ID. And within this unique ID, what we're basically going to do right now, the first thing that I want to do is to go ahead and then include an initial right here. If you don't want to include your initial, you can as well go straight to a kind of creating the new file name and then go ahead and then do the uploading from there. But what I want to do right now is that I want to add something like, I want to go ahead and add an initial. So I'm going to put that in quotes right here and something like CK. This is going to be CK. You could type something like maybe the full name of your website right here, something like code kinder, like that. And maybe you put an underscore just to designate that this is the file name. Okay, but what I'm going to do is just use my what is it called, my initial. So I'm going to say CK underscore, and what I'm going to do right now is to go ahead and then add a second parameter right here, which is going to be set to true. And after I do that, the next thing that I want to do right now is to concatenate onto I'm going to concatenate a dot, because the way that it is right now, if I go ahead and run this, this is going to generate a few random numbers for me. But you know that images most of the time, or files will always have extensions. So there is something like a dot png, dot gif, dot zip, or whatever. And if you check what we have done so far, if you echo out this particular extension right here, where is it? If you echo this thing out on the browser right now, you're going to see that what is going to actually show you, it's not going to show you the dots, it's going to show you something like JPG, which you have seen when we did dumping of this particular file right here. Okay, when we did dumping, what we saw was PNG or JPG. So it did not include the dots. And for something to be actually called a file, it must have a dot, then plus that of the extension name. I don't know whether you understand what I mean, okay? But if you go ahead and echo this particular thing out, you are going to notice that since we did the exploding of the stuff, what we have left was the extension name itself, but it does not have a dot. So we want to bring back that dot down here. Okay, so that's why I want to concatenate onto that right now. So this is going to be dot, and what I want to concatenate onto is going to be a dot. So I'm going to put a dot in here. Okay, like this. This is how I'm going to do the concatenation. And after that, I want to concatenate again. And what I'm going to concatenate onto this time around is going to be that extension that returns for us. this particular extension, okay, this file extension that comes back for us, which if you echo it out, we're going to just see something like PNG. Depending on the file you upload, you're going to see PNG, JPG, zip without a dot. Okay, so because there is no dot, that's why I concatenated onto this, to bring in a dot. So what I'm going to do right now is to paste that file extension right here, and I'm going to terminate this line. So it means that I'm going to generate a series of characters here, dot the file extension. That is what this line means. So generate unique name, add a dot onto that unique name, and add the extension which we've already worked out up there. So hopefully you must have understood what I mean by now. Please, this particular, the last explanation now is okay. So that is just that. We have that right there. And remember, if that happens right now, we're going to have to save that into this variable that is called the new underscore file name. Okay, so that is just that. All right, so if this particular line we have in here now, if everything works just fine, the next thing we need to do is to go ahead and then do the file uploading. So I'm going to just put a comment right now and then just say upload if everything is okay. So if everything is okay, down here we're going to do the uploading right now, which we can, to really upload something to your server, we are going to have to need a destination. Okay, so the destination is the folder name that you are going to upload the files to, which we have actually created here. We call that images right here. Look at it, and it's empty right now. So the first thing I want to do right now is to actually grab onto that destination. So to grab onto the destination, I'm going to just say file underscore, well, let's call this destination, and I want to go ahead and set that to that particular location, which I want to just put that in quote right here, and that was called images. And then I want to just say /, and I want to concatenate onto the new file name. Okay, so this is going to be dot. I'm going to grab onto this particular variable that is called the new file name, and then put it right here. Okay, so that is just that new file name. Remember, with this line alone right now, that doesn't mean that we've actually uploaded the file. We have not yet uploaded the file, but what it does, what this means is that we've actually set a destination where we're uploading the file to. So to now upload the file right here, so let me put a comment, now upload the file. So to upload the file, we're going to make use of a function called move underscore uploaded underscore file. Okay, so let's do that down here. So this is going to be move underscore uploaded file, like that, and it's a function, and it's going to need basically two things. Okay, the first thing it's going to need is the temporary file location name, and after that it's going to need the file destination itself. And the temporary file location is actually found up there. There was a time we created variables. Look at it right here. So it's going to need this name. I'm going to copy that, then get down to that place, and then paste it right there. So it's going to need that temporary file location where it is temporarily. And after we grab onto that, the next thing we're going to grab onto is the file location where we want it to upload the file to, which is found right here. We call that file destination. So I'm going to put it in here. That's file destination. And I'm going to terminate this particular line right here. And maybe down here, I'm going to just do something like echo, or let's just basically create. I think let's just do kind of an alert right here. So I'm going to just echo out a JavaScript stuff right here. So I'm going to just say script, and this is going to be alert, and I'm going to create a message in here. So I'm going to put double quote inside, and what I want to say, I'm going to just say something like success. After that, we need to just go ahead and close the double quotation, and finally close the script right here, and I'm going to terminate this line. So that line alone should be able to kind of echo out, alert something onto the screen for us. Okay, so let's save this and then let's give that a try. So I'm going to refresh this page. We don't have any errors yet. So let's go ahead and upload. Let's go ahead and upload this one. It's less than 2 megabytes. So let's click on upload, and we have success right here. Okay, so if I click OK, you see that that file has been uploaded by now. Because if you check your images folder right here, see that if I came in, look at it, and it has the initial CK underscore, the rest of the characters that you can see here, which if you also go to this particular place right now, you see that that file has been uploaded. Look at it right here. You see that? that's been uploaded. So that is just that, guys. So that's just that. We have successfully been able to upload a file to our server. So the next thing that we want to do right now, um, I want to actually create that variable that we call success down here. So if everything works just fine, that means to have success. So we should create a variable that we call success right here. So let's call that success, and we want to go ahead and then maybe put a message in here. Now what I'm going to say in the message is going to be simple. I'm going to just say file. So let that be file uploaded successfully. Sorry about this, guys. Let me answer this call. All right, so that is just that. And in fact, we could even basically put this in an if statement. So we can just do something like if take this away, this is going to be like this, and I'm going to extend this down here. So this is going to be maybe something of this nature. So you can put that so that if you want to put an else part, you can just go ahead and then do the else part, and maybe somewhere down here if we ever want to. Okay, what? There's no need for that actually at this moment. So let's go back and maybe do the final testing. So for instance, I'm going to upload the file right now successfully, a file that is under 2 megabytes. So I have a success, and that has been uploaded, but I want to basically see that message that is called success right here. So that success message, we have not actually echoed it out right here. So I'm going to copy this line because we have actually even created the CSS part of it. So I'm going to just say success, and this is going to be changed to success. We have a variable called success up there, and sorry about that. So this is how it is right now. So if we refresh this page to upload that again, we should be able to see that message right there. So that is it. So that part is gone. So let's test again with a file that is not actually supported. Let's try with a file that is not supported. So if we go to the desktop and we try to upload .txt, so we'll get this particular error right here. And if we try to upload a file, let's refresh again. Let's try to upload a file that maybe has higher size than what we actually specified earlier, which is this one, and hit submit. You see that that did not actually submit. So that is just that. That is just that, guys. And so if you like what you've learned in this video, it's actually up to you to do something by maybe subscribing to our channel or hit the like button so that more people can get an awesome video like this. So if you like what we have just done, just go ahead and subscribe and then hit the like button. And you're also free to share this video on your social media handles. So you can click the share button down there to share this video. All right. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.